Okay, welcome everyone to the latest episode of Cronos Stream. Right, firstly, my name is Jay. I'm from the Cronos Labs partnerships team. And today, together with us, we have a few other speakers. Right, but before I dive into all the introductions, firstly, you'll see a QR code on the top left. Right, if you scan the QR code, you'll be directed to Cronos YouTube channel. Right, if you have not subscribed to Cronos YouTube channel, right, to give us a subscribe. And this stream is currently streamed live across Cronos Chain Twitter account and Cronos Chain YouTube channel. Right, so this stream will be from 2 p.m. UTC to 3 p.m. UTC, and all the projects today will be giving some updates about what's happening with their projects. Right, but just a caveat and disclaimer that all updates shared in the Cronos stream, right, are meant to be only informational and not financial advice. Right. Okay, so now let's dive right in to the panel that we have with us today. Right. So today we have 5 speakers, excluding me. Right. And we have Ken Timsit, who is the head of Cronos Labs, who has been a constant speaker in all Cronos stream. Right. Follow on, we have Noah Clason, right, co-founder of Versa Games, right, one of the earliest gaming platform on Cronos Chain. Right. Next, we have Jason Tomlinson, right, COO of Coin Alpha, right, who is the organization behind Hummingbot, right, trading bot that I'll let Jason share more about it later on. Next, we have Degen Brain Mike, right, who is the co-founder of Degen Brain Finance, a learn-to-earn platform, a gaming platform on Cronos. And last but not least, we have Hajedan, who is the founder of Cronos Research, right, a platform that has been servicing very useful information about Cronos Chain, and that I believe most of the Crow fam should know about. So later on, I'll let each of the speakers here give a deeper introduction about themselves. But firstly, let's start off with Ken, who will be giving us the latest updates about Cronos, right? Some of the latest Cronos news happening on the chain, right? So on to you, Ken.
Hi, Jay. Thanks a lot. And hi, everyone. Glad that you were able to connect to this stream. We have a busy agenda, busy today. So it's going to be a little bit of a rapid fire list of updates. But those updates are too valuable to skip. So first of all, there are a couple of new posts that are valuable for you to read if you haven't read them already on the Cronos blog. So the Cronos blog has a new URL. It's now blog.cronos.org. And in particular, you can find a recent overview of the gaming ecosystem on Cronos. And I know many of you have said that not everyone is shown or listed in that ecosystem update, but hopefully it's the beginning of a recurrent series. So no worries. I think we want to keep some ammo to keep you interested and have future updates as well. So at least read this one on blog.cronos.org. And also the accelerator program, the Cronos Accelerator program, is still gearing up for its second cohort. And as part of that, the team published a call for mentors earlier this week. So you can have a look. And if you are qualified, if you're an industry expert or Web3 founder who wants to get involved, you please apply as a mentor. Next, I wanted to mention that last week there was a very interesting video stream on the Cronos Chain YouTube channel that covered the Galileo update, so the Galileo upgrade that took place a few weeks ago, and is version 1.0 of Cronos. And if you want to dive into the technical details of that upgrade, and hear it directly from the protocol engineers, you can log into YouTube and our channel. Next update, we've seen the Cronos Safe app, which is a fork of the official Safe app, but is a different app, maintained separately and living on Cronos. So that Safe app has been upgraded recently to the latest version. It's now almost up to date with the latest developments of Safe on the Ethereum chain. So if you need a multi-sig wallet, that's the place to have a look at. And you can check on your own that the code is identical to the one of the official Safe app, which can therefore help serve your needs as a developer or NFT creator. Moving on and continuing with the accelerator. So there were a bunch of announcements last week with the first set of partners of the accelerator, BitQuery, BlockSec, and Rockex, who are stepping up to support developers on Cronos with mentorship, with free credits, with master classes. So that's the first announcement of partners, and we expect a second and a third announcement and many more announcements to come in the coming weeks. I also wanted to give a shout out to a few other projects who have integrated Cronos or provided value to Cronos users. So Binox is an app to calculate your tax returns. They just announced a Cronos integration. Happy or Happy, I think probably it's called, you pronounce it Happy. Happy.one is an app that you can use to enter any smart contract address and see if it has been previously reported, in a rug pull or other kind of scam. So it helps you with your research and helps to enhance your personal security. Then we wanted to mention that the Crypto.com DeFi wallet has once again shown their support for Cronos Chain by starting a quest series with single finance, so you can have a look. And finally, Transact, which is a fiat onboarding solution, just announced that it's now possible to buy CRO, not just internationally, but also in the US. And so that's another announcement that we're very happy about, and I know many users are happy about.
Right. So definitely a lot of activities happening in February, both on the infrastructure layer, like partners such as like Transact, ChronoSafe, Happy, Binox, I believe it's pronounced as Happy, and also on the application layer where we gave the recent announcement of the Cronos gaming ecosystem, and it really has been quite a gradual growth of gaming projects who have chosen Cronos as their home chain or alternate chain to build on, right? And if I'm not wrong, I saw today, Ken, you posted a tweet about Cronos projects, application projects that wants to have a shout out, and we have received a lot of resounding response from the Crow fam, right? I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so I didn't expect such enthusiasm in replies to my tweet. So I've tried to list on this page in a non-scientific manner those that got the most shout-outs. And the question was, please list the apps and projects that you would like to thank for everything that they're doing for the CrowFarm community. And so those are most of the projects that surfaced. And again, it's not scientific. The ranking is not scientific. I will prepare a script to do it more rigorously next time. But at this point, I just wanted to highlight that I think it's interesting to see that right now, a lot of the thanks and the enthusiasm of the community revolves around NFT, metaverse, and gaming projects. And you can see that reflected in the list with Primate Business, with VVS, which is DeFi, but also has a game, Troopers Army, Cronos Crow, Crow Skulls, Ibisus Bay, Nobodies, Phoenix Finance, Cronos Team Club, Bushy Crow, and official Digipals. So clearly a lot of enthusiasm for NFT, gaming, and metaverse, but also a few other projects that have surfaced in DeFi, such as VVF Finance, Veno, DeFi-Ra, which is a game and also DeFi, Phoenix Finance, Single Finance, and also the Troll Crow, the Troll Coin meme coin. I just realized that there are some typos at the bottom of this page. So of course, Cronos Ballers and Hidden Fish DAO are not meme coins; they are NFT projects. So I think it's interesting to see the enthusiasm that exists around projects that have, for many of them, been supporting the community for months, or even for some of them since the start. And I encourage you to check them out and do your research to see what else you are missing on the chain.
Right, and I think this really attributes to the Crow fam. There's a lot of them who are huge NFT enthusiasts, gaming enthusiasts, who generally gravitate and are strong supporters of the various community NFT projects on the chain. Okay, so thanks for sharing about the latest Kronos news, Ken. And let's move on to the projects today. So firstly, we have so if you are on YouTube, right, feel free to post a question in the comment section of the live stream, or if you're on Twitter, just feel free to reply to any of the live stream tweets with your questions for any of the projects. And just a recap of the projects that we have with us here today, right? Hummingbot, Versa Games, Chrono Research, and Degen Brain Finance. Right, each project will be given 10 minutes to give a quick sharing about who they are, right? Who the team behind the project is, and what the project latest update is about. Right, so we'll go from left to right. Firstly, Hummingbot, and today we have Jason from Hummingbot/Coin Alpha with us. Right, Jason, how is it going? Maybe give a quick introduction about yourself.
Hey Jay, thanks for having us on. My name is Jason Tomlinson. I'm the CEO of Coin Alpha. Coin Alpha was the company that created the open source market making and arbitrage project called Hummingbot. And then about a year and a half ago, we actually split the two companies so that the open source project is run underneath the Hummingbot Foundation. And then Coin Alpha is a for-profit fintech company that provides software and services on top of the Hummingbot code base. So that's why it's Coin Alpha and Hummingbot. They're kind of connected, but we're getting kind of separate ecosystems and separate services. The best analogy a lot of people have used is like Red Hat and Linux. So if you want a free version, you can go download Linux and do your own thing. If you need software and services on top of it, you can call Red Hat. In our case, if you need help with market making software solutions, you can come to Coin Alpha.
Okay, so I believe you have like showcase a short demo of what Hummingbot is about today. I think the best way to really see Hummingbot, like this trading bot, is in action. It's really to see it live, right?
Yeah, let me before you pull it up, the way that we work with centralized exchanges and layer one protocols like Cronos is on the layer one side, there's a middleware called Hummingbot Gateway. And so there's a Hummingbot client that is a trading client. It's focused on algorithmic high frequency trading. And then the middleware called Hummingbot Gateway actually connects directly to each of the chains. So Cronos sponsored connections for both Finance and VVS Finance. But one of the real valuable, everything in Hummingbot right now is focused on arbitrage and market making. And one of the best strategies that's in the open source code base is called AMM arbitrage. And that is what we're going to demo today, is actually capturing arbitrage between Finance and a centralized exchange. And the bot, as you see on the screen here, we're kind of old school. So anybody that's from traditional finance and knows that speed is king, we're not going to have a fancy web GUI for you. But if you're, we do have command prompts and things to help you navigate. So Jay, if you want to go ahead and press play, I'll kind of narrate what's happening here.
Okay, right. Yeah, take it away.
Yeah, so this is going to happen real fast, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview, and then we'll have a still screenshot. So on the left is the input interface, and on the right is the log pane. So all the commands go in here. So if I want to check my balances, and it's okay if you can't read the text, I just wanted to give everyone a visual idea. So here it's going to check, and it's going to see that I'm connected to KuCoin. I have some CRO tokens and some USDT. And then I'm connected to Mad Meerkat on Cronos, and I have some wrapped CRO and some USDC. I want to trade between those two and capture ARB. So now I need to import my strategy. So I type the import command, and it's going to check to a few things to make sure the strategy is good to go. I can type the config command. I can see my strategy. One thing that notices I've set this to a minimum profitability of -5%. Well, why would I capture -5%? Because this is a demo and I need the bot just to trade. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire it up and let it make a trade, and then we're going to blow up the screen, and I'm going to walk through what you see. So issuing the start command actually checks the chain, make sure it can talk to the chain, make sure it has balances, make sure everything's good to go, and then you confirm it yes. On the right, it's a very verbose log pane. A lot of people collapse it because you get all the meaningful messages on the left. But what's going to happen is right now is it's making the trade. Once the one side gets filled, then it'll immediately fill the other side. So I'm going to type stop, or I type stop right there because I don't want to keep losing 5% every time I trade. And as you'll see on the side there, you'll see that the meaningful messages, meaning the actual trades that went through, are output. So this is kind of the breaking down. Hopefully you can see this a little better. So there's really 3 steps in this strategy. The first is, and this is really the nice part about using an HFT bot, is once you're running this bot, it's very small, very fast, very lightweight. It's going to be looking for arbitrage at all times. So 24/7, 365. It's just sitting there running, waiting for a market to spike one side or the other. So the step 1 there is actually the bot found an arbitrage. It actually calculates the estimated gas fees that you'll pay in CRO so that you can include that in your profitability. And then once it finds it, then it goes into a 2-step process. The first, and this order does matter. We always recommend that you do the DEX side first, because this transaction confirmed really fast. Cronos was very well known for speed. So this transaction, from the moment once it got submitted by the bot, was confirmed within 6 seconds, which is really fast. But sometimes you might fail, that transaction might fail due to gas or something like that. So you always want to get your confirmation. And so you can see that I get my transaction hash as the last part of step 2, where I've actually placed a buy order, and I've bought 70 wrapped CRO on MM Finance. And then the third, as soon as I get confirmation of that, I immediately go out to KuCoin and I do the opposite side. I sell 70. So if in this case I had it set to, to just trade, if I said I want to capture 1%, then this would have captured 1% minus my gas and trade fees. So that's pretty much what Hummingbot is. That's what Coin Alpha does, and you have support in Hummingbot Gateway for Cronos Chain, and support for MM Finance and VVS Finance. That's in the open source code base today and ready to roll.
Right. Thanks for sharing, Jason. So, if you're to summarize, what are the interesting bots that, so that you have shared an arbitrage bot. Are there other kind of bots that a user on Cronos can run, or any features that they might be keen to check out as well?
I would say that the AMM arbitrage is our premier strategy for DEXs right now, and a lot of this has to do with the speed at which centralized exchange prices move as different from the speed on some decentralized pools. Therefore, it's very difficult to capture manually, but if you have a bot that is a high frequency trading bot, and in Hummingbot's case, it's free and gives you access to all these chains, including Cronos and all these different corners of the digital asset marketplace. If you can go out and search and find your little market and find your little corner, and you can compete with the same speed as the large market makers, and so it kind of it levels the playing field. It's our own sort of DeFi, giving the tool sets that all the large guys have for free to encourage liquidity across all platforms.
Nice, like giving the power to the masses.
Exactly.
Right? And okay, so like for example, maybe I'm a retail trader who might not be too familiar with Hummingbot. Like first time, like I'm hearing about you guys the first time, and I want to try it out right after this. What are the risks that I should know of?
what are the risks you should know of?
Yeah.
Yeah, so good question. Number one, I want to point out that the open source code base is at hummingbot.org. And so that's the open source foundation, and there is a built-in test drive. So you can go test it out with a test instance, and it works in paper trade mode, so you can try it out. There is a little bit of a learning curve to be a market maker. Everyone reads about market makers making tons of money. It's not as easy as just, firing up a bot and pressing go. I would say the biggest risk that most people that get into market making underestimate is actually what I guess you might consider in the DEX world impermanent loss, but it's you have to have assets in order to be a market maker, and unless you're doing stable coins only, you have exposure and risk. And so there is a really good strategy that we call that's actually a helper strategy called a hedge bot. And so, for example, let's say that while I'm sitting there holding those CRO tokens, waiting for arbitrage, I can actually run a second bot, and that's why it's important. Hummingbot is really small and lightweight. You can run. I've run 8 bots on one Raspberry Pi device, so it's very small, very lightweight, and you basically can run the hedge bot to actually hedge, take the opposite position on a perpetual exchange while you're holding those CRO tokens. So I would say that's the biggest risk for market making, that people think they can just go start capturing spread and printing money. You need to understand that you have inventory risk. The market's always moving, and don't forget to take account for that into your strategy, the hedge cost.
Okay. Right. Thanks for sharing everything. I think it's very important to know, the risk of every type of profitable strategies that you want to run. Right. So
Yeah.
even though arbitrage tends to be very profitable, but there's of course risk that every investor should know of.
Yeah. Thanks,
Before
Jay.
I hand over the time to Noah from Versa Games, Nix, any last words from you, Jason?
No, just thanks for having us on. Thanks for being a partner. The goal, I'm kind of speaking for Mike and others from the Hummingbot Foundation. I'm on the for-profit side, so I sell software and services on top of Hummingbot. But really, the reason I wanted to join is really to evangelize for Hummingbot. If we're successful, Hummingbot will become the de facto standard for connecting all chains, all centralized exchanges, all liquidity, because that's when you really get a transparent, open, fair market. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for sharing, Jason. Okay, onwards to next speaker from Versa Games. We have Noah. Right. Noah, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. And yourself?
Good. It's good seeing you again. So Versa Games, right? You guys have been on Cronos for quite some time. It's almost like 9 months, almost a year already.
Yeah.
But I think firstly, give an introduction about yourself and the team behind Versa Games.
Yeah. So basically, me and my co-founder were from traditional finance. So we're both worked as global macro portfolio managers, and then also been running like market neutral digital hedge funds. But what kind of brought Versa Games, I guess, to fruition was basically I think like a year and a half ago. That's when we kind of discovered DeFi, and we were yield farming a lot, and also on Cronos on the early VVS days. That was like, great deal in the market, and basically, earning a lot from yield farming, and then seeing, how Web3 gaming kind of kicked off with X Infinity, but then also like when Star Atlas did their IDO, we saw there's so many wrong things of the way the market is like currently doing it. Basically pricing assets in dollar, make it super hard for the actual gamers to get into the game, and also a lot of time launching stuff without games, and just being able to discover like things in this space. So we're looking to how we can contribute to this space, and the first thing was the discoverability issue. Basically, if you're interested in Web3 gaming, how to get started. And we feel like even now it's all gone more than a year, it still hasn't really reached levels where it's very easy for Web2 gamers to just start playing. But I think we'll get there a lot more now when we kind of maybe see a bit more like Web2's social login wallets that doesn't require you to pre-fund a wallet, doesn't require you to save your secret seed phrase, and a lot of other stuff that you have all these hurdles to even just start playing a game. And then of course we also need to see more fun games coming out, which I think there's a few fun games out there, and there's coming more. So we're very bullish on this space. And I mean, of course, the term has changed, like play to earn, play to own, free to own, play and what do you call it? Earn and play and all that stuff, right? So
for the benefit of the audience who might not know of Versa, right?
Yeah.
So are you guys a game? Are you guys a gaming platform? Are you guys a gaming provider? Maybe give a quick overview of Versa games.
I'll say Versa can have two main aspects to it. The first is what you see when you go to a website, versagames.io. There you see a discovery platform. So the idea there is basically you can see what games are out there, go to the game page, see some game trailers, see some screenshots, see if it's interesting for you. If it is, then you can trade a token, learn how to get started in the game, kind of like ease into the onboarding process. We're hard at working now to actually implement or integrate NFTs. So the idea there is, okay, if a game has NFTs, we should showcase those NFTs. Where they're traded at, you can maybe trade it directly on the platform as a NFT trading aggregator. Also, like the correct categorization. Like, is this a character NFT? Is this the Genesis NFT? Is this land NFT? Is this equipment NFT? What does this NFT do within the game? So that is actually a hard challenge which we're tackling right now. So basically, we want to be a one-stop shop where anything interested in Web3 gaming, you can find the games, you can trade the game assets, both tokens and NFTs. Then the second part is basically our B2B service, because we have our team has a lot of financial background and been working markets, and we've seen a lot of game studios don't necessarily as familiar, okay, they have these tokens, they have these NFTs, they need to balance this in-game economy, they need to have their tokens traded. And having the tokens traded at a centralized exchange, it can cost a lot to get it listed. You need to have a market maker. Actually, maybe the Hummingbot could be pretty interesting. Maybe you can market make yourself if you use that. I don't know actually. But then, so what we want to offer game studios is also that financial service support. So we raised $2 million on VVS with our IDO in April, and we can use that treasury to provide liquidity for other games who want to come to Cronos, or if they have their liquidity on one DEX, maybe they want to bring it over to VVS and so on. So we can help with that. So that's our second part of the business, where we're trying to basically build revenue. So our storefront, that is totally free. All the listing, all that stuff, all the co-marketing, all that stuff we do for free.
Right. So two distinct stakeholders for Versa to target, right? Number one, your end users who are essentially users of Cronos Chain, right? They can go to Versa and find out the latest games that exist on Cronos, and basically a summary of their games, what their NFTs are, and where you can trade their tokens and NFTs, and where you can play their games, right? Correct. So it's a one-stop shop, a one-stop summary shop for you. If let's say you want to find out more about games on Cronos, head to Versa Games and find out what are the games that are available for you to check out on Cronos and what are they about, right? So obviously Cronos gaming ecosystem, it's still growing. Currently, the number of games becoming live, it's gradually growing over this year especially, right? So head to Versa Games if you want to find out what are the latest games coming out this year.
We've definitely seen a lot more activity on Cronos. I mean, we're getting even today or yesterday I got a new interaction from you with a new game. So yeah, I feel like this finally coming more stuff to market, which makes it a lot more exciting.
Yeah, I think there's this time duration, right? When Cronos just launched, is mainly DeFi protocols, and then game developers who find out about Cronos, right? It takes time for them to build a proper game, right? And then now it's after 1 year, where it's time for them to launch their games, we start seeing more and more games coming live on the chain, right? Which is great to see. Right. So perhaps if you have any latest updates on what is happening on Versa, maybe the upcoming features that you would like to share with your community today.
The hard part about that is we've been working on our roadmap 2.0. We'll probably publish it soon, but it's more we're not really done with the prioritization, like what we'll tackle first, and there's a lot there, like both NFT trading, maybe account management with wallets, maybe events, tournaments, and other things. So it's hard to say exactly what will come next. But
Okay.
we can see, if you follow our website, we kind of, I guess, probably at least like once a month, we can have some kind of major uplift to the website. And I think the nearest one is probably publisher pages as well, instead of just gaming pages. So that's, I guess, I can share.
Right, but maybe what would be a couple of items that you're exploring? Right, maybe if we can go a bit higher level, you don't have to go too deep on
NFT trading. I mean, it's basically, I read I think that was a Wintermute interview, and they were saying what they're focusing on right now, and I think it's a little bit same here. Right now, when there's not that many games live, our focus will be rather to make sure we're in a position when the games are there and the market is taking off. How can we be in the strongest possible position and get the biggest market share? So for that, we're mainly focusing on building the infrastructure to be a fully trading platform where you can trade the tokens and NFTs very seamlessly. So it will make a lot more sense for any game to rather make sure that they're fully integrated with virtual games than getting a centralized exchange listing, because that's where the gamers will be. That's where the activity will happen.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing. And before we move on to Hajedan from Cronos Research, maybe any final words from you, Noah?
I think that's good. Appreciate it.
Okay. Right. Thanks for sharing, Noah from Versa Games. Right. So we just shared a link in the YouTube chat. Right. Somewhere above versagames.io. Right, give their website a check out to see what you can do on their website and what are the games that are live on Cronos. All right, now moving on to the next project and speaker, we have Hajedan from Cronos Research. Right, how are you, Hajedan?
Hey Jay, I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. Yeah, obviously a very well-known figure on the chain itself. I see a lot of people on the chat is speaking about you, and I think it's because Cronos Research has added a lot of value to the chain in providing timely information. Right. So firstly, maybe give an introduction about yourself and Cronos Research.
Okay, so first and foremost, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. And Cronos Research, it started at like last year in January. So Cronos Research is live for over a year now. And it's basically a platform which is trying to making DIOR, or do your own research, easier and accessible for everyone. That's actually the motto of the platform right now. And the idea when the platform started was to having just a simple database of new projects, both NFT and ecosystem DeFi projects. But it grew up into much bigger platform. So currently the platform holds around 500 to 600 different projects, and you can find every single information about the project. So for example, if we would talk about Degen Planet's NFT project, you can find the whole description, the mint launch, the supply, contract address. You can even have a link directly to the Cronos Chain to check the potential contract, secondary markets. And in the past, you could have seen even like NFT analytics. The Cronos Research has been, I'm confident to say, the only platform that had any kind of floor charts and volume charts and so on, which currently is going to be disabled because there is great competitor, or I wouldn't even say competitor, but great platform called NFT Scan. So to cut some expenses, because I run Cronos Research on my own for over a year, it's just me and only me. So if you ever talk to Cronos Research on Twitter, it was me, Hajedan, or some people call me Daniel. And that's basically what Cronos Research is, just a platform where you can find basically everything about Cronos.
Cool. Thanks for sharing and thanks for the great work and contribution that you have done to the ecosystem and the chain. Right. So for maybe like a user who has just joined Cronos, obviously you guys are a great platform to check out some information. Right. So what would you say are the top 3 information that a user who is new to Cronos can find out from your website?
So first, and I would say the most important one, is the RPC list, which is like the most visited page on the Cronos research, where you can find all known RPCs endpoints on Cronos, and they are even like ranked by the community via upvotes. And you can even find like a Swift tutorial how to connect your MetaMask or DeFi wallet. The second one, I would definitely recommend the NFT calendar. It's a bit outdated right now because I wasn't really active the past month. There has been some kind of like personal situation, bear market, and so on. I believe everyone knows it really well. But NFT calendar was actually a calendar where you could have seen every single NFT launch, have it being on Abyssus Bay Marketplace, on their own mint, and so on and so on. And the third one, obviously, is ecosystem and NFT list, where you can find all the projects, sort them out by categories, mints, and various different filters.
Right. So summarize RPC, the long list of RPC available on Cronos, NFT calendar to if you're an NFT fan and you want to find out which projects have the upcoming mints or upcoming key updates, right? Hit to Cronos Research NFT calendar, and of course a long list of Cronos ecosystem projects, right? Available for you to filter and see on Cronos Research website. Right. So maybe for this year, what are there any key features that you are looking to build, looking to implement on Cronos Research to further increase the attractiveness of the platform?
Yes, sure. So as I said, the NFT analytics, and there has been actually one more feature, mint stats, where you could have seen how much the project is minted and how it progresses and average mint out and so on. It's going to be disabled. However, there are already plans for, I believe maybe Degen Brain Mike remembers it. I don't know if I talked to him about it, but having like an interactive protocols map where you could just zoom in, open the description, get directly to the page. So that is currently, I would say, in works in the background. Other than that, there is a lot of background work in terms of like optimization of the website, preparing for the bull run, basically. And other thing, I want to establish much more partnerships in terms, as I said, NFT scan, for example, where we could more than compete, like collaborate and cooperate to build truly like a hub, one-stop shop for Cronos. But there is nothing really specific that I could talk about right now. I'm trying to assemble some kind of team in the background, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay. I mean, thanks for running through your plans, and definitely looking forward to all your timely updates that you have been providing on Twitter, especially. Right, and before we move on to Mike from Degen Brain, maybe any last or final words from you?
Just maybe like a swift sentence. Be aware where you invest your money, because as any other chain, Cronos is not 100% perfect in terms of like protocol safety. You don't know where the bad actors could be. And I know it really well because I've used to call out bad actors, and that's basically why I'm like semi-anonymous right now, because it's not a pleasant thing to deal with those guys. But just be aware of the risk and invest responsibly.
Yeah, always do your own research. Definitely. Okay, thanks, Hajedan. Right, so now let's move on to Mike from Degen Brain Finance. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, Jay, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good. Great to have you on today. Looks like the chat is raving about you coming on. So firstly, give a quick introduction about yourself and about Degen Brain Finance.
Sure. Yeah. No, so I'm Mike. I'm one of the co-founders of Degen Brain Finance, which commonly known as DBF. So I'll just call it DBF for now. And so we're kind of a play to earn and learn to earn project. Our main focus has been, basically making education a more fun and rewarding concept in crypto. So instead of just reading articles and trying to do your own research by yourself, we put together a gamified education platform where people are able to learn about crypto, really anything from Crypto 101 all the way to starting and owning your own NFT project. There's roughly 80 courses right now. And along that kind of journey, they're able to earn our DBF token and play the game, which is a top-down shooter, which has been a lot of fun. As you've seen our community in there, a lot of the community has actually gotten involved in the game, which has been cool. One of the artists, a lot of the art is from the community itself versus just our own artists, which has been a really cool way for people to get involved. And actually the music is from the community as well, which was a really nice surprise for people to enjoy. I see our musicians in the chat talking about how great the music is, but that was a really pleasant surprise to see people were actually making music because they wanted some more audio in the game as we were working through the beta side of the game, and so they submitted it for us. So now we've got music and art that's from the community, and so it just makes things more interactive and interesting as we go through it.
Right, so it's a really community heavy project, and I think that's why you have such a strong fan base tuning in today. So maybe for Crow fam who may not have heard of DBF or Degen Brain Finance, what would be if let's say they were to go to your website, what can they do right today, and what are the features for them to check out?
Yeah, so there's quite a bit now that we've rolled out. I mean, we started back in April and started minting our NFT collection, which was a 10,000 Degen Brains collection, which finished minting in January. But we launched the token as well, and so we started with the game and the NFTs, and then introduced a token that people can earn. But then we kind of brought more of a DeFi side as well. And so if you go on our website, there's roughly 10 different vaults that people can put the DBF token in, either single stake or paired with Crow, locking it for different periods of time to earn the DBF token. So we've given people an opportunity to stake those tokens as well. We also have the free-to-play side, which was important. We wanted people to be able to experience at least the entry into the game without needing a wallet, which was a big ask in the beginning. So when we first went live, it really was a wallet connect only, and now you can kind of choose that free-to-play option. So you won't earn any tokens there, but you're able to participate in the game and go through the education aspects as well. And then I think through that there was also a secondary mint that we did, which again was kind of just a fun way to get the community involved. So we Hajedan called it out, the Degen planets. We needed a lot of art for the galaxy in the game. It's a space-based game, and so we created these planets and allowed our users to mint them with the DBF token that they were earning from the game. And then those planets will be utilized as bases in our upcoming PvP expansion, which we hope to have the beta for in April.
Okay, so the last part where you said couple of expansion across your product lines, maybe you want to dive into that. Like, what do you have planned for this year? What can the community look for?
I mean, I think this year we're really excited because we've got a couple big development changes coming. The first one will be moving the game into a mobile-friendly application, and so people will be able to play it within the DeFi wallet or the MetaMask or in the browser, with various ways to either connect the wallet or play without your wallet connected. And that's been a big ask from our community to be able to play kind of however they want, wherever they want. And so that's something that our team is working on right now. I actually just started testing it with our developers this week. So we're pretty excited about that. But then the bigger expansion after that will be kind of the PvP community element, which will be a kind of a base building and strategic gameplay, which will also introduce community boss fights and other ways for the community to play together. We have some similar kind of seasonal based concepts in the game now. We call it the secret ghoul level, which was a callback to the secret cow level from Diablo for any gamer fans out there. But it's a season based contest where people can go and play against each other for high scores and win NFTs and tokens and other prizes. So that's been pretty popular as well. But I think, again, like for us, the biggest heavy lift for us this year is getting onto the mobile friendly platform and also the PvP and community elements of the game that we want to introduce.
Cool. So basically more platforms like mobile expansion, more gaming experiences that you are introducing, so that your community will have basically more utility for their NFTs and more things that they can do on your platform?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was important to us that we stay close to our educational roots, so that the education side will be throughout the entire platform. But we also wanted to bring other elements for people to do in the game outside of just the education side. And a lot of people have enjoyed. You could play your actual NFT in the game, and so a lot of people have enjoyed that element of it as kind of a way to personalize their experience. And so I think we'll continue to add on that. And again, just look for ways to involve the community and kind of the build as we go.
All right. Thanks so much for sharing. And before I move on to Q&A, right, Mike, perhaps do you have any like final statements that you want to share on the AMA?
I mean, I think I'd say to go along with that PvP launch, we're excited about adding a third NFT collection, which will bring all three together. That our community already knows as the Degen Ghouls, but there'll be basically multipliers and soldiers that you get to use in the new PvP expansion, which brings a new element to the game. So we're pretty excited to have that coming out. We're excited about the art and the community involvement in that as well. This one we actually had community members work with us on the traits and the design of the art, so they'll be able to see some of the traits come to life as well on the art. So that was just another way to bring people in and get them involved.
Okay. Thanks so much for sharing, Mike. All right. So lastly, right, Mike from Degen Brain Finance, right, a learn to earn NFT platform, who's expanding deeper into gaming on building on Cronos. Right. Thanks so much for sharing, Mike. Right now, let's move on to Q&A. So for those who have asked questions underneath the tweet talking about this Cronos stream, right, I'll be slowly going through the questions and asking relevant questions to each of the project here today. Right, so going through the list from the top, we have a question directed to Hummingbot. So Jason, so this question is by Francis Wong.crow. Right, he says, Hummingbot is a trading bot that connects to centralized exchanges through API. Right, what is Hummingbot building on the Cronos chain, and which DEX will be their partner? Right, so I believe you might have shared this before, but feel free to answer this question.
Yeah, just to Hummingbot started out originally just connecting to centralized exchanges, but about 1.5 years ago, we created a middleware called Hummingbot Gateway to actually allow trading on chain. And then Gateway is now on its second version, so it's more of a framework now that's really allowed us to expand. So when we add a chain, we typically add leading dexes, and then more and more dexes come on as that. So right now, when we did the integration to Cronos, I think what was that, Jay? Maybe November, December that we launched, I think. At that time we did that, we brought on both VVS Finance and MM Finance. So both of those DEXs are currently supported. And the trading experiences are all the strategies are kind of, I guess one of the things about Hummingbot is it's not a library that you need to be a developer to go code to. It is a complete trading bot with the connectors and the strategies. You just bring your if there's 20 parameters in the strategy, how far from the mid price do you want to hedge, all these different parameters. The config is where you make your money, but the thing about Hummingbot is it is a complete trading package, and for the Cronos ecosystem, you can start trading today on VVS Finance and MM Finance.
Cool. Okay. Thanks for the answer, Jason. I believe that answers Francis Wong.crow question. Okay, next question is for Versa Games, and I'll just pull up the question, right? This question is from Khan, right? My question to Versa Games: when will you launch your NFT marketplace aggregator, and will it be on Cronos Chain? So firstly, is this a product that you have shared publicly, Noah, and will you be able to answer this question?
Yes, it's a good question. I mean, basically, we're still kind of in the research mode to some extent. Like, I mean, we don't have that many developers, so we're actually happy to try to work together with others to see what we can like build together with or build on top of. But for sure, I mean, there are other things. I mean, if you go into the details, like for games, right? And NFTs, like a lot of the metadata is sometimes not on the blockchain and on the NFT. I mean, sometimes it's basically off chain, right? So it's actually in the centralized database where the game kind of have the data for the NFTs. So I mean, there's also we'll be thinking about maybe it would make sense to have some kind of like API service where the game developers can more openly broadcast what the actual metadata is for all these NFTs, and that would also make it a lot easier for NFT marketplace to more properly list and filter these NFTs and do a lot more of that. So I definitely cannot give any timeline because then my CTO will kill me. But this for me, this is one of our highest priorities, and you'll see it when you see it. That's what I can say.
All right. Thanks for sharing, Noah. Okay, our next question is to Mike. So I'll also pull up this one. Right. So Degen bring Mike, and this question is from Michael. Right. With the DBF Learn to Earn game as a potential alternative to going through Medium and Gitbook articles for DD, what project would you be most interested in having a deep dive on the platform?
So this is referencing the project deep dives that we do on Cronos projects, which are pretty fun because they get added into the game and they get their own little galaxy of planets and courses, and they get to add content from their own community to our community game. Well, I'd say right now I'm talking. I'd really like to continue talking with Single Finance. I really like their product and what they're bringing to Cronos. I use it myself, so I would say I'd be interested in finishing up or doing a deep dive for them on our platform. We've been mostly focusing on NFT projects on Cronos, so having a DeFi project in our deep dive section of the game would be fun.
Okay. Shout out to Single Finance, right? Leverage yield farming platform on Cronos. Okay. Next question. This one is directed to Ken. Okay. So this is by GoDad GM. Right. 2022 was a year of building. Is there something big in the works currently for 2023 that is not on the roadmap?
So we had that question last week during the deep dive regarding the Galileo upgrade. And I think that something that's not on the roadmap isn't planned, and we don't hide anything on purpose. I think the way to look at one answer to this question is that I think 2022 has been the year of bootstrapping in many respects, right? Where pretty much a lot of things that happened relied on Cronos Labs to bootstrap them or sponsor them or accelerate them in one way or the other. And I think indeed in 2023, we expect that the ecosystem will take a life on its own with other major actors building their ecosystems and partnerships, and in a way, therefore, making things happen that are not already on the roadmap. So when I look at some of the leaders in the Cronos ecosystem, like Finance, Versa Games, Ibisus Bay, Minted, all of those leading applications are kind of creating their own ecosystem and partnering with satellites who evolve completely independently from anything that we could have envisioned or planned. So then from that point on, from the standpoint of Cronos Labs, it's important to look at what's happening in the ecosystem and hear the needs of those developers so that we can build the protocol and partnerships and integrations that serve their needs. And so I think everything that, in summary, everything that's not on the roadmap is really predicated on us listening to the feedback from the top developers in our ecosystem and supporting them with a protocol and integration improvements.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Ken. So perhaps one more question because we are right up at time, and this question, it's another question for Mike. Right. So this is a question from Brett. Right. And Degen Brains is amazing. My question is when mobile?
Soon. Well, like I said, I just got a chance to test it this week with the team. So our developer that's working on it, it's really his top priority right now because we really do want to have it as a mobile experience. So soon, Brett.
All right. Thanks for giving the very famous soon. All right. So that comes to the end of the Q&A and also the end of the Chronos stream, right? Thank you everyone for tuning in to the Chronos stream today, right? Be it if you are in the US in the morning for you, Europe afternoon, or Asia in the evening for you. Right? Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you have not followed Chronos on Twitter, right, scan the QR code or head to this link, twitter.com/Chronos_chain to give Chronos a follow. And we have the Chronos stream every 2 to 3 weeks. So be sure to follow us to be updated on the latest news on Chronos and where the next Chronos stream will air. Right. So thanks everyone for tuning in today, and thanks for all the speakers to take the time to share about yourself and to share about your projects. Right. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.